Osama Nazzal is a Palestinian affairs analyst. He joins us from Jenin in the occupied West Bank. Welcome to the program, Osama. Nizar Sadawi, our correspondent, was telling us earlier, but I just want to repeat it. The Israelis say that on Sunday they offered the Al-Shifa hospital 300 litres of fuel. They say Hamas refused it. Hamas said the offer never came. But the point is, 300 litres of fuel for Al-Shifa lasts half an hour. Al-Shifa needs 10,000 litres of fuel a day. Tell us what you know about any assistance that's entering Gaza, whether it be food, fuel, or water.
You can say that there is a real disaster now hitting the Gaza Strip and the Palestinians there. And the Israeli military officials talk about the 300 liters of fuel is really farcical. They are having fun of the people and of the world around them, as we know, and according to the statement of the director of the hospital, they need at least 10,000 liters for a few days to operate. So it is nonsense. Gaza is still tightly besieged from all the sides, no food, no water, no fuel. And we saw the Palestinian children in Gaza using the rainwater today for drinking and for quenching their thirst. We saw the Gaza women in the tents today in the southern part of the Gaza Strip that Israeli claims is secure, complaining and crying of the rain and the water over the heads of their children in these tents that remind the Palestinian people of the Nakba of 1948, when the Palestinians were expelled from their villages and towns and sheltered by the United Nations tents, the same that we see today in the Gaza Strip. So it's really a disaster. It is a human catastrophe. And I really wonder how those who claim democracy in the United States and Europe are not only watching, but these governments are supporting the Israeli ethnic cleansing policy against the women and children of the Gaza Strip.
Is one of the reasons that this is continuing, as the world watches what, and again, we spoke about this earlier in the program, a UN-appointed panel of experts says it's increasingly looking like a genocide. So is it continuing as the world watches this potential genocide because of the propaganda that is coming out of Israel? Every conflict is about propaganda from both sides, right? But the Israelis say that Al-Shifa is being used as a center of operations for Hamas, that Hamas tunnels emerge into the Al-Shifa facility. They haven't ever provided a single piece of evidence like they alleged to have done with the Rantisi Children's Hospital. But why would they hide those facts from the world if they believe they are true?
My dear, the war now is farcical, really. Why? Because it's between the Israeli army that has the latest weapons on this planet, the weapons that are provided by Biden's administration for the Israeli government of war. We are talking about the third or fourth strongest army in the Middle East, fighting against hospitals in the Gaza Strip, against newborns and against neonates. And this is really raising a big question mark, and a question mark about the humanity first and the morality of the Israeli occupation officials, and how history is going to mention these people who are killing neonates and new bones and patients in Al-Shifa hospital and other hospitals in the Gaza city, really, because the matter here is clear. Israel has a plan. The plan is to force all the Palestinians out of the northern part of the Gaza Strip towards the south, and we don't know of the next step that they have on their agenda, if they are going to force the people from the south of the Gaza Strip to Sinai or not. But what we know is that they are using propaganda, they are using justifications and excuses in order to rationalize their pogrom against Al-Shifa hospital. And you know that the Palestinians called on the United Nations and on all the international community to send committees, teams, experts, and inspect and search the hospital in order to make sure that all the Israeli statements and all the Israeli narratives and the stories are not but propaganda and big lies.
You said you don't know what's going to happen to Gaza in the future, but could that also be the case for the Israelis? Is it possible that the fighting is continuing because the Israelis don't actually know what they will do once the fighting stops? Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will take responsibility for security in Gaza. A few days later, he says Israel doesn't want to govern Gaza. If they don't know what they're going to do with Gaza once the fighting is over, maybe they still have to just continue to fight because they don't have a plan.
The Israeli occupation government is determined to kill as many Palestinians as possible, whether in the Gaza Strip or in the West Bank. I'm speaking from Jenin, the West Bank. Today, the Israeli occupation forces killed 8 Palestinians really in Tulkarim and Jenin. So we are talking about a fully fledged war against the Palestinians, whether in Gaza or in the West Bank. Continuing the war against the Palestinians, the defenseless, helpless Palestinians really in the Gaza Strip, because we are talking about the overwhelming majority of the victims in Gaza are women and children, as we see in the videos and on the TV screens minute by minute. What is the aim of continuing the war? Is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu going to kill 2.3 million Palestinians in the Gaza Strip? And he can kill them. Of course, we know of the missiles and the military power that he has. But what is the point here? What is the goal of killing 2.3 million Palestinians in the Gaza Strip? Does he think that by killing this number of the Palestinians, he is going to guarantee the security and the prosperity of the Israeli people? This is not the way out really of the conflict. I think that the Israelis need the Americans and need the Europeans to tell them and take them back to reason and to rationality and tell them that the only way out is to recognize the rights of the Palestinian people to freedom, justice, and the statehood. The bloodshed, the bloodletting, and cutting the throats and the bodies of the Palestinian children in Gaza, killing the neonates and the newborns in a Shifa hospital and other hospitals in Gaza is not the solution. And history will not hide the truth and will tell the generations to come on this planet that Israel is practicing against Gaza what the Nazis practiced against the Jews in the past.
Osama, you must have seen the statement from the Israeli finance minister. It's fairly fresh. Bezalel Smotrich says that Gazans should leave Gaza and go and live in other countries. And the Palestinian Authority said that that's a racist plan from the colonialist state that is Israel. I mean, for the finance minister to make a statement like that, you'd presume that he's sought permission from his seniors, the Prime Minister's office.
All the statements by the Israeli Minister of Finance, Smotrich, are approved by the Israeli Prime Minister and by the government, the extremist rightist government in Israel. And the Smotrich, since the establishment of this government, gave the Palestinians 3 options, if you remember, my dear, that either you accept the Israeli occupation and keep silent, or you leave your homes and live in the Arab world or anywhere you like, or you resist and you get killed. So this statement that we hear today is not fresh really, as we heard like this statement, many statements before, whether by Smotrich or Ben Gvir. And of course, what makes the Palestinians really angry is the fact that these statements don't arouse the anger or the rage of the so-called international community. If a Palestinian official issues such a statement vis-a-vis the Israeli people, all the world will stand on its foot and criticize and castigate the Palestinian statement. But when it comes to the Israeli officials and their genocidal and the criminal trend and attitude toward the Palestinians, we see nothing from the official governments in Europe and in America except hollow statements, empty statements, but no action on the ground, and this what encourages Israel to continue its crimes against the Palestinians. Really, the silence of the international community, the encouragement by the United States administration gives Israel more time and gives Israel more space to get its hand more stained with more blood of the Palestinian people, whether in the Gaza Strip, Jerusalem, and the West Bank.
Osama Nazzal, thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thank you.